that journey chick on Instagram. Welcome. It's Tuesday. Another episode of Crafting and Crime. I hope you guys are all doing well. The kitty cats are in and out. Yeah, there's Pearl. Where's Stitch? Oh, there he is. The crafty cats. They have their own little videos now, short videos. Check those out. Got my cow mug coffee. I should have warmed that up beforehand. Let's do the planner. It's Planner Tuesday. I put this here. I used a whole jar of these drills, and I need to order some more. So I'm putting them in this Van Gogh painting. It's got the Starry Night above Alice. It's called Alice Van Gogh. So in some of the yellow in the Starry Night, I'm putting some ABs, Aurora Borealis drills. Those are special diamonds that are acrylic with an iridescent coating, and they make extra sparkly. Yeah, okay. That's enough about that. Yep. All right. Oh, I decorated this so pretty. All right, today is National Indiana Day. Do I have any subscribers from Indiana? If I do, raise your hand and then leave a comment down below. So, yeah, Indiana Day. Indiana Day. And in this day in history, we're going to talk about a Broadway musical. Which, you know what that means? I'll be singing again. You're like, not again. I'm turning the station. Yeah. What other channel is on, right? What did not do any uploads. Well, I did a cat one. We did Stitch's upload. Stitch going for a walk. Oh, check that out. And today is Tuesday. Nothing special about today, except I promised my sister we would go check out the Nifty Nut House, which is this candy store downtown. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So today is like 70. It's supposed to go up to 70-something degrees. And it'll be 20 degrees tomorrow. Cold front coming through. But no snow. No, we're not going to get any snow. I'm disappointed. Okay. That was my sister's dog, Duncan, named after Dunkin' Donuts. That's because that's where she found him. Anyway, he's leaving. He has left the building. Okay, I got some drills out to do some diamond painting. National Indiana Day. Indiana was the 19th state to enter the Union under President James Monroe. Yep. That's the Hoosier state. Lots of musicians from Indiana. Jackson 5. 1, 2, 3. ABC. 1, 2, 3. Remember well, we know Michael Jackson, but remember Jackson 5? Yeah. Larry Bird, he's from Indiana. Hoosiers, basketball, big basketball state. And let's see who else is from Indiana. Lots of museums, parks. Juliet Strauss, who's a columnist. Wilbur Wright, we know the Wright brothers, yes. Author James Whitcomb Riley, Cole Porter, a composer, Ernie Pyle, a journalist, Orville Redenbacher, oh my God, Popcorn, yeah, from Indiana, who knew? James Dean, the actor, Twyla Tharp, the dancer, Jim Davis, the cartoonist, and last but not least, John Mellencamp. What? Yeah, Indiana. Who knew? Now, I've been in Indiana. Have I been in Indiana? think so. I don't think I've been in. What is he up to over there? What are you up to? I see you. As long as he doesn't mess with Jorge back here. See, we got Jorge. He's taking his place among the elves. Elves. the gnomes. I call them elves and gnomes. They look like elves this time of year, don't they? All right. Where am I putting this drill? Right here. I so want to get this painting done. I really do. But I have so much left to do. I really do. All right. I put it off long enough. Crafting and crime, what you came here for. Okay. So yesterday I decided I'm going to watch the closing arguments of the Kyle Rittenhouse case, because I had not watched the evidence. So I said, well, let me watch the summation of the evidence from the prosecutor and the defense. And let me tell you, it was a long ass day. That poor jury. Well, first of all, the flow kept being interrupted by, the bickering of the attorneys, in which case the judge would have to remove the jury so they could bicker outside the presence of the jury, and for whatever reasons, which is very unusual during a closing argument, that that one side will interrupt the other side, and make objections, because it's just poor form. It doesn't look well. And the judge's response is usually, hey, it's argument. We've told the jury this is not evidence, it's argument. They're really supposed to just listen to it and disregard it and go by their own memory of the evidence. But this went on all day. I got home from work about 4:30, 5 o'clock-ish. Still going on, sat here and diamond painted. It finally ended about 6:30-ish, 6:30 Central Time. And they are, I don't know what time zone they're in. Kenosha, Wisconsin, I don't know. Let's find out. Because I don't know, honestly. Let's see. Let's ask Google. Let's ask Google. What time zone is Kenosha, Wisconsin?
The time zone in Kenosha, Wisconsin is Central Standard Time.
Central Standard Time. Same as me. So 6:30-ish last night. So the judge tells the jury, okay, I'm going to send you home for the night. Then tomorrow morning, come back at whatever time you want. And he took a vote. Do you want to come back at 8, 8:30, 9? So they all said 9. We'll come back at 9. And at that point, he's going to put all of their names or numbers, they have numbers, put all their numbers in a jar, and then they're going to pick out 6 names, because there's 18 of them there, and they only need 12 to deliberate. So they're going to pick out 6 names, and those 6 are the alternates, but they're not allowed to leave. They're going to be hanging around the courtroom, not the courtroom, but the courthouse, just in case something happens to one of the deliberating jurors and they have to take their place. Now, just imagine, now you get done with this long day of closing arguments. I had a headache. I'm not a juror. I had a headache. You've got a headache. You go home, and you're not allowed to talk about this with anybody, including your spouse. And you're laying there in bed going, oh, am I going to be a juror? Am I not going to be a juror? Do I want to be a juror? Do I not want to be a juror? I was thinking that this morning. I was laying in bed going, now, if I was a jury member, what would I be thinking? And I think my opinion would be, please choose my name out of that jar and let me be an alternate. I don't want to be. I sat through Zoom on Sunday, which was 2 hours long, where we were debating this Rittenhouse case for 2 hours. Well, not the entire 2 hours, but maybe 30 minutes of it. But it was the longest 30 minutes of my life. So I certainly don't want to be on this jury that's going to be probably deliberate this thing for a couple of days. I'm assuming, because there's 6 different charges that this guy's charged with. So then, they're going to get to the courthouse, their name will be picked, and then they'll begin deliberations. But like I said, they have 6 charges to deliberate. So here are the charges. Charge 1 is first-degree reckless homicide. First-degree reckless homicide with the use of a firearm or a dangerous weapon. Now, this charge involves this Rosenbaum fellow that was murdered. Now, it's a felony charge. If he's convicted, he could go to jail for up to 60 years, and the addition of the firearm, the dangerous weapon, would add another 5 years onto it. There's no intent necessary for this charge. All that's necessary is that that the prosecution proved beyond a reasonable doubt that Kyle Rittenhouse was showing a reckless disregard for human life. Now, they are also allowed to consider whether the defense to that charge was self-defense. The second charge is reckless, first degree, recklessly endangering safety, use of a dangerous weapon. Now, this has to do with, it's connected to the Rosenbaum shooter with regard to a bystander. This bystander claims that, and he testified that he was in the line of fire. So this is basically like an attempted charge. He could get up to 12.5 years in jail for this charge. Also with a weapon modifier that would add 5 years to the charge. So that's 17.5 more years there. Then count 3 is first degree recklessly endangering. It's the same as count 2, but it's with respect to what they're calling jump man. This is a guy that, this was involved in the second shooting. This guy jumped at him, forcing him to the ground. This guy, who is unknown, he never came forward, so it's an unknown man. They call him the jump man. He was leaping at Kyle Rittenhouse, trying to kick him seconds before Anthony Huber moves towards him with his skateboard, trying to hit him in the head. So now Rittenhouse is already on the ground when Jumpman tries to jump at him. Now there's an issue over whether he actually made contact with Kyle Rittenhouse, but that's another charge. Fourth charge is first degree intentional homicide. Now this is a charge where they do have to prove intent, and this has to do with the second murder. This has to do with the guy with the skateboard who leaps at him and swings the skateboard at his head and neck, and he is shot by Kyle Rittenhouse in self-defense, according to Kyle Rittenhouse. That would be a defense to this charge. Now, count 5 is attempted first-degree intentional homicide, and this has to do with the shooting of Gage Grosskreutz. I'm probably butchering that name, but they showed this, and then they showed a close-up. He shot the man's arm. The guy did have a weapon and was coming towards Kyle, and he shot the man's arm and like just severed his bicep. Oh, it was probably the grossest thing I've ever seen, and I'm a nurse. I mean, like, oh, yeah, it was pretty gross. So there's a charge stemming from that as well. Then there was a charge for possession of a dangerous weapon by a person under the 18 years of age, but the judge dismissed that charge. The defense found some kind of paragraph in the statute that had to do with the length of the barrel of the gun. The judge said the statute was very confusing, so he threw out the charge. So he's no longer, the jury's not going to have to consider that. There was also a charge for failure to comply with a state and local ordinance, which was the 8 p.m. curfew that was in place. And the judge felt like this prosecution had not proven their case on that beyond a reasonable doubt, so he threw it out. Yup, not enough evidence to prove it. Which I don't understand. They've got video of him being out after curfew. Like, we know what time the videos say they, like, that makes no sense. So here was my question, not having paid attention to, not, I wasn't following this trial for you guys. I was curious, what was this protest about? What was being protested? This was back in 2020, back under, President Trump. Oh, it pains me to say that. President Trump. There was a shooting of a black man, Jacob Black. Jacob Black was known to the police for a history of domestic violence. He was seen putting a child into this vehicle. It was his girlfriend's vehicle. He had already been tasered twice by the police. They were trying to apprehend him on a warrant. He goes to get into the vehicle, grabs a knife, and he is shot. He is shot at by this police officer 7 times. 4 of the bullets hit him. He survives to face the charges and ends up on probation. I don't think he served any time for this. But the police officer is exonerated. But anyway, so there was protests surrounding the exoneration of this police officer in this shooting of this black man, who admitted to the prosecutors, yeah, I had a knife. So, yeah, strange world. So that was what the protests were about. Lots of unrest, really in many different places, all part and parcel to the Black Lives Matter movement. So that's what the protest was about. Because I didn't know. Did you know? I didn't know. And Rittenhouse wasn't there to protest anything. He was there to help. So you get to, now let's talk about the closing arguments. So the prosecution put on a very well put together closing argument. I thought it flowed well. He argued that the first shooting was provoked by Kyle Rittenhouse, even though Rosenbaum is seen throwing this plastic bag at him. Now, there was some contention over what was in this plastic bag. The prosecution says that all that was in the plastic bag was he had just been released from the hospital. It was his discharge papers and stuff. Like, he's walking around this protest carrying his plastic bag with discharge papers in it. Okay. The defense contends that there was something more nefarious in this plastic bag. Well, of course they're going to contend that. So he throws this plastic, he's been chasing Kyle Rittenhouse, and he throws this plastic bag at him, and Kyle, who was running away, turns around, sees him throwing this thing, and shoots him. Then he starts to run away, and you hear people that are running after him in some of the videos saying, why did you shoot him? Did you just shoot him? Now, we also see video of rescuers trying to save Rosenbaum's life. They roll him over, they're trying to put pressure on his wounds. But Rittenhouse does not try to save him. He runs. But I do hear him say, and if I was a juror, this would be a very important piece of evidence to me. I hear him say, I want the police. So, and the prosecution kind of ignores that, but I heard him say that. So, and he does say that in his testimony, he was going to find the police. But now he's being chased by a mob, an angry mob. Now, the prosecution's theory was like, this guy is now an active shooter. Now, I have prepared many active shooter drills as a risk manager, and you don't you don't chase the active shooter. You run and you hide. You don't chase him. But they were chasing him, this mob of people. Um, and that's when the second shooting occurs, as he gets shoved to the ground, and that the jump man comes and like tries to kick him in the face, and the skateboard man comes, and it's just a big debacle. But I thought the prosecution did a very well at presenting that evidence. Then the defense gets up, and the demeanor of the defense attorney was angry. Like, are you kidding me? He's lying. The prosecution is lying. And I'm thinking, this is not such a, like, I don't know. As a juror, I don't want to see an angry defense lawyer. Like, just get up and make your case for your client. Like, no, this big man. Be honest with you, I didn't listen to half of it. I was working too. I was at work, and it just turned me off so bad that I know at one point he goes over, he gets the rifle, and he's like, he wasn't holding it this way, he was holding it this way. He made this argument that this is a right-handed rifle. Now, I don't know if guns have right and left sides. I have no idea. But this is a right-handed rifle, and he was holding it in his left hand in order, and if he had shot anybody with his left hand, the cartridge would have hit him in the face. And so the prosecution on rebuttal gets up and says, no such thing as a right or left-handed gun. I don't know. Why would the defense say that if it wasn't true? I don't know. I know nothing about guns. So in any case, the jury gets this case today. And while I'm watching this on YouTube, there's this live chat going, and it's like going super fast. And the network is running polls through the live chat. And one of the polls was, do you think 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse should have been at this protest? So I'm thinking, well, that's a no-brainer. So I pressed no. And I was in the minority. I'm like, what? Like 80% of the people in this live chat thought, yeah, he should have been there. What? Are you kidding me? Okay, I'm sorry, but no 17-year-old boy needs to be downtown at a protest. He needs to be in his basement playing Call of Duty. I'm sorry. No. And I have to say that, his mother did not know that he was there. Mom thought he was spending the night with a friend. How many times did our children tell us, hey, Mom, I'm spending the night with a friend? Well, now you're going to think twice. Where is my son? I think in this day and age, I'd call the friend's house. Hey, is he there? Or is he at the protest? Did he bring his rifle? Whatever. Oh, my God. This case is crazy. And they've called out the National Guard because... if 80% of the population feels like he had a right to be there, I don't disagree that he had a right to be there. Should he have been there? Heck no. There's going to be some unrest, no matter how the verdict is decided. But I think it'll take a few days for the verdict to be decided. I will bring it to you live if I'm able to, if I'm in a position, here at home with the camera. I'm working from home the next couple of days. Now, my luck, it'll be Wednesday while I'm at work. It always happens that way. Or Thursday while I'm at work. I don't go to work on Wednesdays anymore. Yay! Coffee break. Now, let's switch gears. It's going to be a long show today, because these trials are just crazy. Let's talk about the Ahmad Arbery case. So, they put this... black woman on the stand. She was the next door neighbor of Ahmad Arbery. Now, I'm not sure what the relevance of her testimony was. Literally, all she testified to was, yes, I was his next door neighbor. And through her, they put into evidence a picture of Ahmad when he was like 6 years old, 8 years old, something like that. So when they published that picture to the jury, you hear the mom cry out, "Oh!" You know, it was it wasn't an overly emotional outburst, but it was what they consider to be an emotional outburst. Well, guess who's there to comfort her? The Reverend Jesse Jackson, another black pastor, which probably sent in there to annoy the defense attorney. So, of course, the judge clears the courtroom because, he has to rectify the emotional outburst. So he cautions the gallery, please, no emotional outbursts. But, after she has this emotional outburst, you see Jesse Jackson. He's putting his arm around Mom and he's hugging her. And, while someone else props him up because the poor man is so old he can't sit or stand up on his own. But he was there. A well-known civil rights icon is sitting in the courtroom. So, of course, this attorney, this is his chance to move for a mistrial based on the emotional outburst, based on the fact that this icon is sitting in the courtroom. The jury's attention is distracted, and it's intimidating to the jury. Now, this argument has been made in other cases successfully, but this judge is not buying it. He's like, listen, if any more black pastors come in here, it's probably because of what you said the other day, which frankly, I find reprehensible, when he made the whole black pastor statement. He goes, you brought it on yourself. So just keep talking, they'll keep coming. But this is a public courtroom. I'm not going to discourage people from coming in to watch this trial. They have a right to be there. They're not disturbing the flow of the trial. They're not intimidating anybody. The jury is still paying attention to the evidence. I don't disagree with the judge, but I don't disagree with the attorney either. I mean, you've got two very, very prominent black icons that have been sat into this case. How could it not affect the jury? The jury is made up of 11 white people and 1 black person. Now, that could be very intimidating. Do I want, it's going to cross my mind as a juror. Wow, what's going to erupt if I decide that these white men are not guilty? So, which I think there's very little chance of that. I'm just saying, these guys are guilty as sin with what they've been charged with. And that's just, prosecution could rest their case now. Guilty. So the other thing they did yesterday was they put on a firearms expert who showed off the rifle that Ahmad Arbery was shot with. He showed that to the jury. For the first time, also, the jury got to see the video from the cell phone of defendant Gary, whose attorney is the one making all these reprehensible comments. I'm sure he's rethinking his hiring of this guy at this point. Who did I hire as an attorney? Anyway, his cell phone footage gets shown to the jury first time, and it's like shown frame by frame. They put on a cell phone or a video analyst who slowed this thing down and looked at it frame by frame by frame. And one of the questions was, did he have a weapon? Did Ahmad Arbery have a weapon? No, there was nothing in his hand. Case closed. So they get to see that footage. They get to see the firearm. Today, it's expected that the medical examiner will be the first person to testify this morning. We will finally learn what the injuries were to Ahmad Arbery, whether he was shot 2 times, 3 times. We know the gun was fired 3 times. I suspect that one of those went into someone's house based on previous testimony, but I think he did sustain 2 shots. So we're going to hear about that today. the entry of the wounds, the exit of the wounds, the angle of the shots. That's all going to be very, very interesting. We'll also find out towards later this week whether any of these defendants are going to testify in their own defense. That's going to be very interesting. And I suspect that they might. They're just that arrogant. Yeah. Anyway. That is crafting and crime. Let's go to something a little lighter. Let's lighten the mood. This day in history. The Sound of Music debuts on Broadway. I just have to see what year that was. 1959, 1 year before I was born. So apparently, there was a memoir that was written by Maria von Trapp. This was a real-life family, the von Trapp family singers. And she was not happy with this musical. They really diverted from her memoir. They didn't really, she felt like they didn't capture the essence of her memoir in this musical. And the musical was a huge hit because of the music, not because the actual storyline was kind of but the music, huge hit. So the same week that the musical debuted, so did the soundtrack, which I think went platinum, hit the Billboard charts, went straight to the top. Doe, a deer, a female deer, rain, a drop of golden sun, climb every mountain. Yeah, whatever. Anyway. Oh, every sea. Ooh, doo, 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 doo. Okay, enough. Are you still there? Sorry. I love that movie. I really do. So Mary Martin played in the musical on Broadway when it debuted, but we know later on there was Julie Andrews in the movie, and I will watch that thing once or twice a year, every year since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. Love, when she starts out and she's in the grass and she's just like, she's twirling around. I love it. I'm like, oh, I love it. And my other favorite is Edelweiss. Edelweiss. When Christopher Plum is singing it with the kids. Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever. Yeah, I've seen the movie once or twice. I know every song. And I don't like the second half of the movie, like when they start being chased by the Nazis and stuff. I don't even watch that part half the time, because by then you've heard all the great music, and now we're just being chased by Nazis. So, and then they get, well, you know how it ends. So that's enough about that. That is the show for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please do not feel like I believe some sort of way, one way or the other, about either of these cases. I do, but I hope I didn't appear too biased. Let's just say that. I do have opinions one way or the other. I will put up a poll on the community page for the Rittenhouse verdict, since we're on Verdict Watch. And you will be the 13th juror. Please tell me how you would vote. Are you going to find him guilty on these charges? Guilty on the lesser charges? I'm going to put a few different choices for you today, because there's a lot of charges. So take care, everybody. I will see you later today if there's a verdict. If not, I'll see you tomorrow in the next episode of Crafting and Crime. Don't forget to hit the like button. Make him some toast, but don't give him any butter or jelly, just dry toast. Hit the subscribe button. If you made it all the way through and you like the content, please subscribe. Ring the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode. Every episode is playlisted and numbered. So take care. See you tomorrow.